Welcome back to Tarot and Beyond. Today's reading is What Are You Mirroring? So this was a channeled reading that Spirit gave me the idea for. Essentially what it is we're going to be looking at what themes, archetypes, or symbols are you seeing mirrored back to you, and what does that mean? What are you needing to learn from that, or what are you needing to heal? So we have 5 different piles here today, lots of options for you, and each one of them has oracle and tarot cards already in them. We're also going to be pulling from a clarifier deck as well, and we have runes on top of each one of these piles. So choose the pile or the crystal rune that resonates with you, and if you feel drawn to more than one pile, feel free to allow your intuition to guide you to the piles that have the messages that your soul is needing to hear at this time. You can find the timestamps down below in the description box or pinned in the comments to jump ahead to your reading or multiple readings. And we will see you there. Enjoy! All right, hi pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. Let's go ahead and find out what it is that you are currently seeing mirrored back to you and what that means for you. You have the 10 of Winter, the resolution of difficulties, a weight lifted off your shoulders, the end of an addiction or codependency. This is the 10 of Swords. You have the King of Winter, knowledgeable, experienced, fair-minded, unemotional. Get advice from someone professional and objective, public speaking, and unemotional relationships. This is the King of Swords. You have the Scribe in the upright, so this is the light attribute, which is preserving knowledge and information. You have co-create. Go the distance. And for your tarot cards, you have the Tower card in the reverse position. The Queen of Swords, that's significant here, especially since you have the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. The Four of Swords as well. And the Ace of Wands. Okay. So the first thing I want to mention here in your reading, pile number 1, is that I do see a lot of awareness being mirrored back at you. So there's a lot of information that is being provided to you. This may be through synchronicities. This may be through symbols and things that seem to repeat in your life. And it could also be through people. So sometimes it's symbols repeating that you see around you, or sometimes it's people saying the same thing over and over again, and or communicating the same type of information to you. So because you have the 10 of Swords, which is that 10 of Winter energy, it is an ending of a tough time. It is an ending of some pretty major mental and even physical depletion. And I like that you have the Tower card reversed here as well. So this is a recovery from a Tower moment, an ending of a really disruptive cycle for you. So you could also be seeing that mirrored back to you. So for example, this could be like a situation where you gave everything that you could and you tried as hard as you possibly were able to, but it just didn't work. And so you kind of were forced to leave, or you were forced to accept that this situation wasn't working for you and to need to change it. So I see that being mirrored back to you as well. And you may have been going through that in the last 6 months or so leading up to this reading, which is timeless, by the way. But I do see that you're coming out of that now, and that's being mirrored back to you. So you're gaining a lot of clarity. The universe is responding appropriately by bringing you so much information that you need to create more healing for yourself moving forward. I do see that the universe is mirroring back to you that you need to rest as well. So some of you may have been pushing too hard with that Tower energy and the Ten of Swords, it's like you were pushing yourself too hard, or you were building something and it was taking all of your energy, and then it wasn't really serving you in the long run. So it kind of either got stripped away, or you realized it wasn't working and you were forced to change it, or something like that. But I do see that the universe is also mirroring back to you that you need to rest. So you could be seeing, for example, I'll give you a personal example for me, because this also has been coming up for me recently. They've been showing me people lying in hammocks. So that's the symbol for rest that I've been getting lately. And they keep repeating that over and over again. And I literally went to the store the other day, and I was checking out at the cashier, and she brought up that she had just bought a hammock and how she was enjoying just resting in it. And then they were showing me a vision of during meditation of someone lying in a hammock. That was before that instance in the store. And then later I'm seeing, images of people on hammocks and other readings that I'm watching. So this is the type of thing that the universe will mirror back to you. Those are symbols and synchronicities that show up in such a way to give you this information so that you can apply it. And that's what I'm seeing here in your reading, is that the universe is speaking very loud and clear with the King and Queen of Swords in your reading, that it's all about your thought. It's all about your mind. There's going to be so much information coming through in that mental zone. So you might have these realizations and epiphanies, or these could be communications from other people, like I was saying. But it's all kind of centering around rest so that you can recover. So I do see that there's recovery here from something that was very tumultuous in the past with that Tower energy. I am getting past energy with that. So I don't think that there's any major upheavals to come. I do feel that you've kind of been through the worst of it, and you will know what this situation was for yourself. So just take it how it resonates. But now what you're doing is being called to rest so that you can step into your creatorship. And I do see with co-creation that this is going to be with other people. And I think that's another reason why we have both the King and Queen of Swords here. So it's like your partnerships or communications with other people are going to be really important to you. So pay attention to what's being mirrored back to you from those people. What are they talking about? What are the themes that are coming up? Are they triggering you, or are they giving you these insights and epiphanies that you really needed, or possibly even both? Either way, it's going to be helping to support you in co-creating what it is that you are looking to build that's going to be much more sustainable and will actually go the distance compared to that tower that was stripped away or that had to be brought down in the past because it just was not sustainable. So I do see that work and rest are a big theme for you here, and you could also be involved in writing, or you could have writing being mirrored back to you with information. So again, pay attention to any of those synchronicities and those types of symbols that come up for you. Animals might also be something that you're seeing repeated, because you do have the cheetah in both of these cards, co-create and go the distance. So I do feel like it really is about these patterns that repeat for you, and that's what mirroring is. But specifically when it comes to messages around your physical health, your career direction or goals, and how you're achieving that. So if you're working too hard and you're not feeling as though your needs are being met, or if you're not resting enough, or you are feeling like writer's block or some kind of creative block, the universe is trying to mirror back to you that it's time for you to replenish your energy so that you can go the distance, so that you can, in short bursts, go very quickly and then rest, and then in another short burst, go really quickly and then rest. So that's what's going to help you to go the distance in the long run, rather than kind of like that slow but steady pace. I feel like your energy and your soul are intended to go very fast and then take a break, and then very fast and then take a break. So that is a more steady pace, rather than trying to go very fast without taking any breaks for a long period of time, which can lead to that Tower and that Ten of Swords energy where you're completely burnt out and things start falling apart or falling through the cracks. I also see that what's being mirrored back to you is this capacity to create. So co-creation, again, is going to be involving other people, but I think a lot of it is really coming from you and the universe as well. So if it's not other people that you're collaborating with directly, it could be that you're being mirrored back this inspiration through your ideas or through how those ideas are manifesting around you. So let's say, for example, you have an idea to make this particular story, and these are the themes of that story, and you're sort of like working through that in your mind, and then all of a sudden you start seeing things mirrored back to you in regard to that story archetype. Let's say you're writing a story about a dinosaur. Okay, super random, but all of a sudden you start seeing dinosaurs mirrored back to you, and you're noticing that they're coming up everywhere you go. So that's the type of thing that the universe is trying to encourage you to move in that direction. Sometimes those mirrored things will also show you where you're blocking yourself or where you are creating misaligned, or where your actions are misaligned. So it is important to pay attention to the context and to how you feel about those things coming up. But I'm seeing specifically here for you that you're meant to be co-creating with the universe, and you are. And because of that, there's a lot of information and inspiration that they're trying to bring through, your guides, your higher self, your team, etc. The universe at large. It's like it's trying to support you in creation of whatever this is. But you've got to work with it. You know what I mean? Like, you have to work with the universe rather than against it. So like listening to those signs and symbols, paying attention and acting on those messages that come up for you, and making sure that you're putting aside time to rest so that you're not burning yourself out or exhausting yourself mentally and then not being able to continue going onward. So make sure that you are taking breaks, whether it's like 10-minute breaks throughout the day or whether it's like a vacation of a week or two. It's important that you rest and that your quality of rest is good, because I do see that you're needing to recover from some pretty significant energetic drain or loss in the past. Now, let's take a look at your rune. Let's take a look at your rune and see how that fits with the rest of the reading. Okay, so it's actually supposed to be like that, like a bee. So this is Berkana, and it indicates regenerative powers and personal growth. It's also connected to new beginnings, birth, prosperity, beauty, and conception. Wow. Okay. So Berkana here is talking about the regeneration from that exhaustion that we were seeing with the Tower card and the Ten of Swords. It's the ending of that really tough cycle. It's the ending of that complete burnout. And you're now able to regenerate and step into your power, because you do have two very authoritative cards here. King and Queen are both very powerful, very knowledgeable and experienced, as it says here. So it's all about creating balance for you so that you do not continue that old cycle of burning yourself out. So Berkana is really talking about this new beginning, and this co-creation also speaks of birth as well. So you might be actually creating something, especially since you have the Ace of Wands. You could be quite literally taking pen in hand and beginning to scribe or write, or maybe you're just creating a plan. If you're not a writer, maybe it's just that you're sitting down and journaling or creating a plan of action of what you're going to do so that things are more balanced and you're not running yourself ragged. The other aspect of this could be this could be the paintbrush that you're creating this piece of art with, or non-literally, this could be like the proverbial paintbrush that you are going to start shifting your life with, right? So if your mind is the paintbrush and your reality is the canvas, then this is really the awareness and the understanding, and also the vigor and motivation to be able to start changing that through your actions, which is what the Ace of Wands does talk about as well. But it does come from mental clarity. Without having the understanding and the wisdom based on the experiences of the past that didn't work, it's really hard to change that cycle, but you're doing that, and that's what's being mirrored back to you. So embrace the new beginning, step into this new journey, grab that pen, grab that, that clarity or whatever it happens to be, so that you can co-create with the universe, rebuild from what didn't work, and make sure that you're resting as you go along so that you can go the distance. So that is what I see for you, pile number 1. That's what's being mirrored back to you. That's what the universe wants you to pay attention to. And I hope that this reading helped you to use that information and or apply what comes up for you going forward. So I'm sending you so much love. And if you enjoyed this reading, please like and subscribe to the channel for more pick a card readings. And we will see you in the next one. Bye, guys. All right, hi pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. Let's go ahead and take a look at what cards you got and what this means in terms of what's being mirrored back to you and what you should do about that. You have the Ace of Autumn, a windfall of money, advice or assistance from others, a very successful project, a happy change in your career. This is the Ace of Pentacles. You have life experience, let go of belief systems that no longer work for you, an important life-changing situation that leads to significant opportunities. And this is the Tower card. You have Father in the upright, which is the light attribute. So this is talent for creating and supporting life, positive guiding light within a tribal unit. You have To Be Fair. And Orphaned. Sorry, I just had to adjust the camera angle so you guys could see all the cards. And you have the Ace of Cups as well. Sorry, not the Ace of Cups, the Queen of Cups. You have the Eight of Cups as well. Lots of Cups cards. You have the Three of Cups as well. And lastly, the Three of Swords. Okay. So pile number 2, what I see here is that the situation that's being mirrored back to you is something that's karma, or a relationship dynamic that is needing to be healed, specifically with the masculine. So this could be with the father, although we do have this in the light attribute. This could be part of the healing, but it could also be somebody in the past that you've had a negative relationship who was a male or held a lot of masculine energy. And I do see that there has been a lot of conflict around this. There have been feelings of abandonment or feelings of being very wounded emotionally or having heartbreak or betrayal come up. This could be from your literal father, or this could be from relationships with men or masculine individuals who represented the father type energy. The Tower card is life experience, and I like that they've phrased it that way in this deck because life experience is what you get from some of the more chaotic, harder times, right? But the Tower card does represent things that no longer are stable, or the foundations are needing to be deconstructed so that we can have something that's going to be more long lasting and more aligned with us at soul level. So I do see here that you are building something new. That's what the Ace of Pentacles can represent as well. And you're building something new in regard to your home and family life and your emotional well-being. The Three of Cups here is a good omen or a good portent of possible success here. There's going to be more fairness in your relationships with other people, and you're going to be celebrating that. This does necessitate that you walk away from situations or experiences of the past. Now, this could be literal. So let's say, for example, you have a very dysfunctional relationship with your father, and you know that this relationship hurts you and it's caused you a lot of pain. And so you need to walk away, maybe to distance yourself temporarily from the relationship, or to limit contact, or even to go into full-on estrangement. Now, that's not going to resonate with everyone, but that's just an example that's coming to mind. This could be relationships within romance as well. So for example, you realize that you're repeating patterns or dynamics of these abandonment issues or these feelings of abandonment that came from childhood, that doesn't always necessarily mean that you were literally abandoned. It can be emotionally abandoned, it can be mentally neglected, it can be all of these different things in relation to the father, and you're needing to heal and come back into the highest expression of the father archetype, which is really supporting life through positive guiding of the tribal unit. So this is very much to do with your relationships with other people, specifically masculines or men, as the father archetype is here. But this can also be about your own masculinity within yourself. So if you're a male or a female, actually, it really doesn't matter because we both have masculine energy within us. This could be healing your relationship to your masculine, which is your own inner protector, while at the same time nourishing and nurturing your feminine essence as well, which is that very loving, emotionally fluid side of the self that's able to receive and to feel very deeply. So the universe is really mirroring back to you right now that it's important for you to heal your heart. It's important for you to address any feelings of being abandoned or orphaned or rejected, so that you can reconnect with people and have a greater sense of community, a greater sense of connection, not only with the people in your tribal units or your communities or your family, but also with yourself, because that's what's going to help you to build up this new foundation for yourself, this new, much more level and fair exchange within your emotional self and how you interact within your relationships. The universe also might be mirroring back to you that it's time for you to go on a little bit of an inner journey. And so you might be connecting with a father type energy to help you do that. So maybe you are connecting to or going on a quest to find this inner need that you did not have met at whatever time in your life caused the result of this Three of Swords energy and this orphaned feeling. It does kind of feel like an inner journey to find the information that is going to help you to understand why this happened and to heal it through your own nurturing, loving energy. This life experience is very important for you at soul level. This is creating a lot of evolution and development. So being mindful of that, it's going to help you to move through this with a little bit more grace and less chaos, because it does feel like there has been some chaos within this situation or this relationship dynamic, and it has hurt you, but it's no longer going to be carried with you. I do see a lot of healing and a lot of new beginnings, a lot of celebration and connection for you that is much more balanced, and you're able to move away and give your back to things in the past that caused you a lot of pain, emotional pain that really created a lot of heartache for you over the years, and possibly even resulted in you distancing yourself from people who you wanted to have a relationship with, but didn't feel confident in your ability to create stability or stand up for your own boundaries. The universe may also be mirroring back to you that it's time for you to get grounded again, because they are drawing my attention to all of the sort of nature in the background of this card, and the fact that this woman here is not wearing any shoes, she's barefoot, and then especially with the Ace of Pentacles too, this is a very earth-based energy. So getting grounded just means feeling safe in your body and connected to your environment. So your body is the primary environment, and then the secondary environment is, your home, the people in it, the world around you, even physically going out into nature and connecting with trees and grass and things like that. So getting grounded is going to help your heart to heal. The universe may be mirroring that back to you as well through different signs and synchronicities. You might just kind of feel this call to go out more, to connect to people, or to just get out into nature and reconnect to yourself and your body as well. That's going to help you to complete this journey so that you're finding what it is that you're really needing here and being able to meet that for yourself, or to have that need met through connection to others and healing through that connection, which is essentially the opposite of what happened here initially to cause this wound, right? If the wound was created through disconnection, then the healing needs to come through reconnection. Let's take a look at your rune to see how this fits into the reading. So you have Hagalaz, which is destructive forces, clears old pattern and unwanted energies. It's the involuntary suffering, affliction, sudden loss, or disruption Okay, so and it's sitting right on top of the Tower card, which is exactly what the Tower card speaks of as well. It's the same energy. So we can see that Hagalaz is talking about these destructive forces that have tainted your life, is what I want to say. It's like those destructive forces that have significantly changed your life and shifted the stability that you were meant to have into something that was much less appropriate. It was much less supportive. And so because of that, it's created a lot of chaos for you. It's created a lot of heartbreak, and you've had to deal with these situations all alone, is what it feels like. And so because of that, you've kind of either gone into hyper independence, or there could also be themes of codependence as well. So it's kind of creating a better balance between your relationships internally and externally, so that you're not feeling as though you need to isolate to solve all your problems alone, or on the flip side, you're not being so heavily reliant on other people that you can't trust yourself to make good decisions or to solve your own problems. So whichever end of that spectrum you fall on, or maybe you're somewhat in both categories, because that's also possible, Hagalaz here is really kind of showing you where those dysfunctional things in the past are ready to just fall away, and you can move into a direction that's going to be much more stable, much more fair, and a lot better for you overall. So pay attention to the disruptive forces in your life. Pay attention to the things that are causing you to feel as though you are unfulfilled or heartbroken or betrayed, or as though there's a lot of loss going on, or you're feeling left out, left behind, orphaned, abandoned, rejected, etc. Pay attention to all of those things, not to the extent that you are continuing to perpetuate them, but really just so that you can see what the information is that the universe is trying to bring you, because this is what this reading is all about. It's looking at the information that is being reflected back to you so you can make better decisions, so that you can understand things that may be going on in the unconscious mind that are being played out in your life around you, in the circumstances and situations you find yourself attracting or interacting with in a particular way. So by understanding these mirrored patterns, we can better discern what's going on beneath the surface within us. And by looking at external circumstances as a reflection, we're better able to treat it at the root, which is within us. So if people keep abandoning you, if people keep walking away from you, if you are looking for these connections and you find it really hard to find them or to keep them or to feel safe and stable in them, as though the world isn't just going to rip that person away from you or that situation or whatever it is that you're wanting and needing, I do see that the universe is mirroring these themes back to you so that you can create more stability within yourself, so that that foundation is not going to be so easily disrupted, and so that you can trust yourself to make these connections with people in a much more balanced way that's much more fair and equal, so that both people are getting their needs met in a reciprocal fashion, rather than you feeling abandoned, you feeling left out, or you feeling as though people never have your best interests at heart, and having to constantly be the one to walk away and go look for better or for treatment that's going to be more aligned. So overall, the universe is mirroring back to you that it's important for you to heal right now. Pile number 2, it's healing from a lot of this disruption in the past and a lot of these patterns that may be continuing to cycle in the present. So paying attention to that masculine father archetype energy, how that relates to feeling orphaned, feeling abandoned, how things were not fair, your relationships to yourself and other people, and also that sense of betrayal or heartache or wounds around loss that need to be healed and need to be addressed. And that's what's calling you deeper into yourself or into these patterns and themes, so that you can get out of those disruptive cycles. So that is what I see for you, pile number 2. Heavy energy here for you. And I'm wishing you so much luck in dealing with this, because you do have a lot of also very positive energy in this reading. So it's a mix of both, but I do see that as a really profound life experience that's helping you to grow more resilient and to understand yourself and your needs and meet those needs at a much deeper level. Sending you lots of love. And if you resonated with this reading and it supported you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Pick a Card readings. And we will see you in the next one. Bye. Hi, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. Let's go ahead and jump into your cards to see what's being mirrored back to you and what you need to know about. You have the 8 of Summer, which is the desire for a more meaningful life, realizing that it's time to move on and choosing to make major life changes. This is the 8 of Cups. You have the 9 of Summer, wishes come true, dreams fulfilled, and a magical time of life. That's the 9 of Cups. You have the Fool in the upright, so this is the light attribute, which is fearlessly revealing emotion, helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. You also have the Tribe and Unfinished Symphony. And then for your tarot cards, you have the 3 of Pentacles, the 6 of Cups. You also have the King of Wands and the Empress. So pile number 3, what I'm seeing in your reading that's being mirrored back to you by the universe is that this is a time in your life that you're moving away from something that did not feel fulfilling to you to move towards something that's way more fulfilling and allows you to be more independent while at the same time still working with other people and feeling like you have this sense of belonging or purpose, that you're providing service to other people or you're being appreciated for what it is that you can do or what skills you have. And it feels very innocent and it feels very satisfying. It's like there's this sense of I can be of service in this way and people are made happy by that or they appreciate that and I feel good because I'm doing what I want to be doing. So I do feel like this tribe energy here for you is kind of mirroring back to you that it's important to work with other people. It's important to consult other people and to kind of look at what it is that they do need or what they do want. But the other side of this is very independent and very personally creative. So it's kind of focusing on what you feel like works for you. So you're not basing what it is that you're giving to other people or providing in service is completely based on what they want and not what you like. So it's got to be this nice balance between what works for the whole and also how you feel when you're doing what you want to be doing. And the way that you're doing it is really important. So this 9 of Cups energy is really about you kind of granting yourself your own wish by honoring and not ignoring what feels good for you. And so it really is about focusing on the process. What is the process going to feel like of your creative invention or of your service work or of your work in general? It doesn't have to be service-based. It can be that you're just working on something and it's, do you enjoy the process of that? Because if you don't, then it's going to feel as though you're losing yourself or you're losing connections with other people. And either way, that's not going to result in something that feels fulfilling or successful or abundant. The other thing here to note is that with Unfinished Symphony, it does kind of feel like there's something here that you are trying to complete. It's like you're trying to finish a project or you're trying to finish something and the universe is mirroring that back to you. So if you keep getting repeating symbols of something that's not done yet, there's a reason why. And it's because you're trying to start this new beginning, but if there's something that hasn't been quite completed yet, you do need to kind of finish that up first so that you can move on to the next thing. So it's kind of like just doing it in order is going to be the way that is going to serve you best, and that's going to produce the best results as well. I do feel like you have a lot of spiritual support as well, so you may be getting messages from your team on the other side. You know, this tribe may not be your physical family, friends, or community. It could be your spirit team, your spirit guides, your angels, your higher self, all of these aspects of you that are trying to make their presence known to you, like the fairy godmother in the 9 of Cups energy. It's like being there for you on the other side and looking to help and support you and guide you along the way by helping you create what you want to create or get to where you want to be going. So I do see that Eight of Cups energy and the Three of Pentacles there is really speaking about you, again, focusing on what you want to make or create and taking steps towards that, going in that direction, following that journey that's really being guided by your heart, and then allowing that spiritual tribe that you have on the other side to support you in doing that. So pay attention to your creative impulses, pay attention to what it is that you're wanting to birth into something that you can actually experience. Like, it doesn't have to be, it doesn't really even have to be, I don't know. It doesn't have to be something that even makes you money. It's more like, does it make you feel abundant? Do you feel engaged when you're doing that thing? Maybe it's something creative, because we do have the Empress card, the King of Wands, and Unfinished Symphony also makes me think about creative expression. So this is you doing what you enjoy and creating that and making that happen. And the only caveat to that, like they said before, was really about being mindful that you're finishing up past projects and you're not kind of skipping steps. That's important. I get the sense too that you may also have your inner child mirroring certain aspects of themselves back toward you, so that you can pay attention to what your inner child actually needs and to provide that for them. So you might see, like, if you liked teddy bears as a child, you might see teddy bears mirrored back to you, and everywhere you go there's like little teddy bears or something like that. That's just a random example. It doesn't have to be literal, but it's that type of theme where you're paying attention to the things that your inner child is kind of calling you toward, or those themes keep kind of cropping up. And then it's like, what are you supposed to do with that? Well, in terms of your inner child, you could ask, what does this represent to me? What does this mean? And what is it that my inner child needs based on what that symbol is showing me? So being able to meet your needs in that way, it could just be like your inner child wants you to buy that toy, or your inner child wants you to go outside and play, or your inner child just needs a minute to kind of laugh at life a little bit rather than taking it so seriously. So you do have a lot of powerful energy in your reading, and I think one of the most powerful parts of that is your inner child. It's that innocence, that fool energy in the Six of Cups. That's very much childlike energy that is so innocent and so open to the world that it's just like that big, wide open heart. And I think that that's the most beautiful power. That's also what can help you to be more creative and to do something new. For some of you, this may not resonate with everybody, but this is coming through, so I do want to mention it. For some of you, this could be about pregnancy. You could be wanting to become pregnant, or you could be pregnant right now, or this could have to do with your children, because I do see that with the King of Wands, the Empress, and the Six of Cups, this could represent parenting, being a parent, wanting to conceive and create a family, or having done that and now kind of like looking at what you need to do within that family unit to make sure things run smoothly and to make sure that everybody is feeling happy and provided for. Okay, let's take a look at your rune. You have Ingus. Ingus is sense of calm, serenity, and human warmth. It's really about inner strength, grounding, bounty, and security. So we do see that in your reading. The Empress card is very much about bounty. The Three of Pentacles is about building stability. And the Six of Cups is about human warmth. So I like this energy for you, pile number 3. I feel like the universe is mirroring back to you all of the desires that you have to grow your family, your projects, your creative expression, to reconnect with children or your inner child, to grow your business, or to really sustain your hobbies, and to feel connected to your family, your community of patrons, or your work family or something like that. And so it is helping you to find satisfaction. It's helping you to find that personal fulfillment, and it's directing you towards completing something that maybe hasn't been completed yet, that will be really, really satisfying for you when you do finish it up. So focus on what feels good, what you enjoy about the process of that, allowing your heart to be light as you go through with that process or that creative expression or that project or whatever it happens to be. And allow yourself to enjoy the feeling of support, the feeling of human warmth and connection, and your own sense of fulfillment at pursuing what really lights you up and brings you a sense of joy. So that is what I see for you that's being mirrored to you. So I hope that this helped in interpreting some of the symbols or in confirming what you've already been seeing. And if you enjoyed the reading and you resonated, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more pick-a-card readings, and we will see you in the next one. Bye. Hi, pile number 4. Welcome to your reading about what's being mirrored to you right now and what you need to do about that. So let's take a look at your cards and see what's coming up. So you have the 8 of Autumn, which is do more research before proceeding, education in the form of seminars, going back to school, or apprenticeships, excellent craftsmanship, and long-term projects. This is the 8 of Pentacles. You have balance, take everyone's input into consideration, merge viewpoints to create a better solution, and take your time. There's no need to rush. I think that's the Temperance card, number 14. I can't remember. I'll double check in a sec. You have the Engineer in the reversed position. So this is the shadow attribute, which is reliance on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences. Okay, I'll leave it upright, but we know that it's the shadow. You have chop wood. And thinker. And then for your tarot cards, you have the 2 of Cups, the Hierophant, the 9 of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles. Wow. So pile number 4, what I'm seeing for you here that's being mirrored is that there's been an imbalance. There's been a little bit of too much focus being put onto relationships, or too much focus just being put on one area of your life that's kind of a little bit more indulgent. And they're emphasizing, or the universe is mirroring back to you, that there's a need to be a little bit more disciplined, more focused, and to focus on the things that you don't necessarily want to be doing, but that are going to produce good long-term results. So that's the chop wood energy, where instead of focusing on the things that we enjoy and having fun and flirting and being connected to people and kind of just doing things that are not, well, the word that's coming through that I'm hearing in my head is frivolous, but I don't think any of those things are frivolous. I think those things are necessary, but in excess, if that's all that we're doing, that's going to create an imbalance. So what I'm seeing here with the 8 of Pentacles, chop wood, thinker, engineer in reverse, and the Hierophant is really about kind of buckling down and studying or learning or working. And it's just kind of like, what do you need to be doing on a daily basis to get everything in order? What do you need to be learning right now? What do you need to be prioritizing? That's what I really see heavily emphasized in your reading. So you might be seeing those themes mirrored back to you in some significant way. It's kind of like responsibility. The energy of responsibility is coming up really strongly, both from the King of Pentacles and from the Hierophant. And with the reversed engineer, it was, wait, what was it again? Reliance on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences. Okay. So it's kind of like, pay attention to what you want the solution to be, but make sure that you are doing it in a balanced way. So you're not I don't know, you're not losing yourself, you're not hurting other people, you're not creating any emotional consequences for yourself. It's an interesting energy, and the King of Pentacles here just feels very disciplined, very responsible, very mature. So if you've been kind of more on the side where you've been a little bit less responsible or less mature, then the message is to be the opposite of that. And if you've been on the side that's been a little bit too mature and you've been neglecting kind of some of the more frivolous aspects of life and the things that can just be fun for you, then you're on that side and you need to bring in more of the joy and the lightheartedness and the playfulness. So I think it's going to depend on kind of which side you fall on, but either way, the message here that's being mirrored to you is to create balance. You know, it's like too much of a good thing is a bad thing on either end of that spectrum. So whichever side you fall on, it's really creating that balance through the wisdom to be able to see when things are getting out of whack, when things have gone too far into one side. And sometimes what will happen is that we overcorrect too. You know, we go into one side because we've been neglecting it, and then we go way too hard on that, and then we get completely out of balance in the other direction. So it's kind of like the pendulum swings too far this way and then too far that way. So this is really about finding that balance by getting kind of that middle ground more emphasized. So the balance card is Temperance, and this is about moderation. So the whole message here that's coming through is being able to moderate each area of your life so that they're both in harmony, they're both in balance. It's not too much of one or the other. And doing this is what creates that sense of balance. It's what creates that sense of maturity, because you're able to play when you need to play and connect to people when you need to connect to people. You can take a vacation or a break when you need it. You can stop and smell the roses when it's time to do that. And then the nuance of this is that when it's time to get to work and it's time to be responsible and it's time to find solutions that are going to be practical and harmonious, then you can do that. So it's that really balanced side of things where you've got both aspects taken into account and you're not falling behind, or you're not falling into these traps of excess. Now let's take a look at your rune, because you have Uruz, which is time of great energy and health and strong individualism. So this is all about vitality, passion, instinct, sexuality, courage, and brutality as well, which is interesting. So I don't get the brutality in your reading. What I really see here is this health, like the great energy and health is really the focus here. The individualism and the balance between how you relate to other people obviously is here in the cards as well, because the Nine of Pentacles is a very individualistic, independent energy, and the Two of Cups is really about relationships, give and take, how you're interacting with people. So I do see, again, it's really the balance between those two things. It's finding a way to create both in moderation. And that will depend on your needs in the given moment. So it is focusing on how you're needing to operate. And it is a nuanced thing, so it's not going to be the same for everyone. Some people need more play than others. Some people need to be more disciplined than others to create balance in their life. So it's really a very individual process to discovering what that balance looks like for you. But when you do create that balance, which is what the universe is mirroring back to you, it's going to ignite so much passion and reconnection to your instinct, which can allow you to have courage in being in a leadership position. Because I do see that here in your reading. You're a deep thinker, you're willing to put in the work, you've learned a lot, and you're very independent, but at the same time, still very charming. And what's the word I'm looking for when it comes to being with other people? It's like you have charisma. Thank you. So you have charisma and you're a good teacher. You're a good leader. You are very stable. So I do see that this is the emphasis here. That's why this is being brought up, is because if you're going to be in a leadership position, you do have more responsibility. And so because of that, it is really about making sure that you're staying in balance and that you are moderating yourself or your team or whoever it is that you're being in leadership of. I do see health emphasized here too. I mean, they did mention that in the Uruz rune. You see that health is going to be a focus for you as well. So if you're seeing those themes mirrored back to you, maybe you're seeing themes of what you should be eating. I remember when there was a time in my life I was starting to see strawberries and cherries just everywhere that I went. And I started looking for the spiritual meaning of those things. And then later when I learned to talk to my body, I realized that was my body's way of telling me that I needed to eat those fruits. So it was a lot more literal than I was interpreting it to be. And so it's kind of like learning to interpret those symbols that are mirrored back to you in a way that's actually going to be what it's trying to say, interpreting it correctly so that you can understand and take action towards those things and create more balance in your life as a result. It's like these keys are being given to you. There's keys of information here, and they're going to come through thought. They're going to come in when you're grounded. They're going to come in a way that's going to help you to solve solutions to some problems that you have. And this may be through some kind of learning. So you may actually be going to learn from someone else to up-level your skills or to step into that leadership position. It's like training or schooling or some kind of a course perhaps that's going to help you to kind of put in some of this more menial labor to be able to get this work done so that you can enjoy the result, which is that, these two cards really. The Nine of Pentacles is a super luxurious, abundant card, but it's also very disciplined. And it's the same thing with the King of Pentacles. He's very disciplined, mature, responsible, but he's also very abundant, generous, nurturing. And he's willing to enjoy the luxuries of life. Like he enjoys having things that are nice and enjoyable and prosperous. That's how he chooses to live his life. And that's why he focuses so heavily on physical comforts and how he can afford to pay for those. So this mirroring that you're getting here is really kind of reflecting back to you, possibly through your relationships or what you're being called to focus on or to learn, and how you can create balance between those two sides so that moderation helps you to move forward and to create a really nice, healthy equality between all of these different areas of your life. It's really taking everything into account here so that it's all balanced. So that is what I see for you, pile number 4. If you enjoyed this reading, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more pick a card readings, and we will see you in the next one. Bye. Hi, pile number 5. Welcome to your reading about what's being mirrored back to you right now and what you need to know about that. So let's go ahead and take a look at your cards. Okay, so you have the 10 of Autumn, which is the 10 of Pentacles. Take steps to ensure the financial security of your children or other loved ones. Make wise investments, planning for retirement, honoring family traditions. You have the Princess of Spring, which is the Page of Wands. Optimistic, enthusiastic, creative, and energetic. It's time to go after your dreams. Do something that expands your horizons and let your creativity take flight. You have Student in reverse, so this is the shadow attribute, which is arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge, unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. Okay. You have a change in the wind. And mending. And then for your tarot cards, you have the 8 of Pentacles, the Star card, the 8 of Swords, and the Ace of Cups. Wow, okay. So pile number 5, what I see in your reading here that's being mirrored back to you is really kind of trying to solve a situation, fix something that has been broken. I see you focusing on something that has been a concern for you. So there's been some fear or some limiting thoughts about this type of situation. So especially since you have student here in the reverse, like the shadow attribute of it, and the 10 of Pentacles and the 8 of Pentacles, this could be that you haven't necessarily been applying what you've learned. And so the universe is trying to mirror that back to you by saying, hey, take a look at this information again. Maybe you need to review something. Maybe you need to study a little bit harder to solve this situation, or to kind of understand it from a deeper perspective. It does feel like there's something that you learned in the past that maybe wasn't correct and it needs to be fixed, or maybe there was something in the past that you learned that is no longer applicable, and so it needs to be changed or altered in some way. I do feel like this is it's something that's going to help you. There's a shift that's coming, and that's being mirrored back to you as well. So it's time for change. It's like there's the change in the wind is making me feel like the season's changing. So especially with the Princess of Spring, it does feel like there's this change from one season to another. And so because you're going through this major change, it's like you can't apply the same information that you used in winter that you need in spring. So it's this necessary shift in your own wisdom and the application of the knowledge that you have. It's using different tactics. And so being able to focus on this new direction and how you're going to apply that knowledge is going to help you. Now, what is this knowledge? Well, for some of you, this may be related to work or a creative project. Maybe you've been studying something and you feel like you've got it, but maybe there's something you're missing and you kind of need to double back and really make sure that you're understanding everything fully. Or there could be missing information that you didn't notice and that you have to go back and look over. The other side of this is still within that realm of career and study, but it could just be that you're practicing building your skills for the future. So it's not necessarily that you're studying something new or needing to review. It's more like you're building your skills for the future to make sure that you're providing a stable foundation for yourself financially and making sure that you have everything that you need, in the long run. The other side of this is actually not work or career related at all. It's more of personal healing and development. So I do see that there's this aspect to it as well with the Ace of Cups and the Star card. These two are really speaking about personal healing and coming out of this Eight of Swords, very self-restricted, self-limited type of mental arena. It's like being stuck or trapped in your own head and not seeing the solution and being very stuck in your ways, or having old programming or old learning and old lines of thought kind of controlling how you're doing things now. And that's why there's this change in the wind, and that's why these things are being mirrored back to you in cycles, so that you can see this pattern and start to shift it and break it. And part of that is going to be about healing yourself. It could be healing the wounds that you took on when you were being taught the things that were not aligned with you. So maybe this was in your childhood. Maybe you were taught or programmed with certain types of lessons that you saw modeled by your parents that you need to unpack, that you need to go back over and review, that are really not serving you in the long run in creating that healthy stability that you're looking for, or even that financial abundance. Maybe it's specifically to do with finances. Like, for example, if you grew up in a household where you didn't have enough money every month and your parents always said, we can't afford that, we can't do that, money doesn't grow on trees, that kind of thing, then this could be the type of learning that it's not traditional types of learning, but it's learning nonetheless. And so it's deconditioning yourself from those types of thought, because that's winter, that's scarcity, and you're coming into spring, which is all about abundance. So it's changing the approach and the mindset to help you to shift into alignment with the circumstances as they're changing and as you're changing. Because part of this really is to do with your own evolution and your own personal healing that you've been doing leading up to this point. I see a lot of freedom and a lot of realizations, and through those, you're regaining that sense of creative expression and what you want to be doing, and noticing where those patterns are not serving you or those programs of thought are continuing to limit you. So with the star card here and the mending as well, it's really about you healing and deprogramming from some of those things that you learned that don't apply anymore, or that maybe were never applicable. Maybe they were just falsities that had been somebody else's truth because it was their lived experience, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's true in and of itself. So especially if it's not true for you and or you don't want to create that as your truth. So this is a great kind of opportunity the universe is giving you to see this more clearly so that you can shift back into the student role, but in a way that allows you to learn in alignment with what it is that you're wanting to create or experience. Let's take a look at your rune. I always put it upside down. I don't know why. I always look at it as like a chicken foot, but it's supposed to be like that. Okay, so you have algiz, which denotes resolution of problems, and it also shields you from danger. So this rune is about success, support, shielding, and shelter. I actually really like that for you, pile number 5. It feels like you are resolving this problem. So this mending is happening, this solution is being found, this healing is occurring, and you're breaking free from things that have kind of limited you in the past or restricted your ability to feel confident in yourself, to go after what you want, to look at the world through optimistic eyes, and to be enthusiastic about what you're building, and really taking steps towards building something very, very abundant and long-lasting that will stand the test of time. So mending these parts of you that have been stuck in the limitations and the old programming and the old learned things that are not correct anymore, or maybe never were, that's really going to help shield and protect you. And algiz is here to assist you in that as well. It's like all of the hard work that you're doing is not for nothing. All of the lessons you've been through are all valuable in their own way. They're either teaching you what you don't want, or they're teaching you what you do want and how to get it. So pay attention to what the themes are that are being mirrored in regard to these symbols and this general message, because that's going to help you to break free from those limitations and to come back into the optimism and the faith that is going to carry you into so much more. And opening your mind to the learning is really going to help you sustain yourself long term, like creating long-term abundance for yourself, welcoming in way more support from the universe because you're able to see things through the eyes of optimism, which shifts your frequency, heals your heart, and opens you up to much greater wealth going forward. So that is what I see for you in your reading, pile number 5. I really hope that this resonated and it supported you. And if you did enjoy the reading, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more picket cards. And we will see you in the next reading. Bye.